Now what happens is like for the average user, for my mom, she'd be lost with something like this because you have to expose all that functionality, and it becomes very difficult to filter that out unless you're a power user. Most people aren't power users. But there's another way. And the other way is kind of the iPhone way. It's where you reduce the feature set enough to the bare essence that it still maintains value. You price it correctly so that people don't have unrealistic expectations of what they're about to purchase. You know, so you could go and get the €800 camcorder with everything under the sun, none of which you'll ever use, or you can spend €100 on this thing that doesn't do everything in the world, but what it does great. It fits in your pocket, you pull it out, you press a button, you shoot a video, you hook it up to your computer, you download it, you're done. Simplicity. Simplicity is not easy though. Removing the interface, you know, controls like knobs and buttons and switches, they're a barrier between people and what they're trying to accomplish. You know, we think of them as tools, but they're not. They're constraints. They're forcing people to interact with, solve problems in a very specific way. And when you start to remove those barriers and give people the opportunity to solve problems in ways that are much more meaningful to them, much more personal, the things that they'll produce and the experiences that they have will be much more meaningful for themselves. But technology is kind of seductive. You know, it's almost unfair because technology used wrong can actually isolate people. It can force people to cut themselves off from the world. It could become a proxy for interaction. You know, virtual headgear and people walking down the street with their nose buried in their phone, which you know I do from time to time as well. So technology is a tool. It is not the solution to all of our problems. What technology should do is it should augment our experiences. It should help us. It shouldn't replace what we're, you know, the reality, our friends and our lives and our loved ones. And just kind of as an anecdotal analysis, you know, Facebook, there was a time, and that's not to scale, but there was a time where actually Second Life was probably more popular than Facebook. You know, it was kind of a novelty thing. When Second Life came out, people were dazzled by the technology, but then what they realized was it was very, very limiting. You know, it was very constraining. It took a lot of time and effort in order to derive value out of it. Whereas Facebook, you show up every couple of days, you type in a status, I'm visiting my grandmother, you post a picture, everybody's happy, you catch up with your friends. It's simple, it's easy, it's flexible. It doesn't force you to do a lot of things that you don't want to do. If you don't want to go down in there for a long time, and you pop back in from time to time, it's fine. It works on lots of different platforms, mobiles, desktops. You can sign in from anywhere. So in that sense, it's a very open experience for people. It doesn't put a lot of constraints on people, which is one of the reasons why it's so successful. I got like 3 more slides. So this Sixth Sense thing, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. It's brilliant. There's you can go to my bit.ly link there. The brilliance of the Sixth Sense is that it maintains tactile interaction with computers. So it's projecting information, but you're projecting it on your hand or on items, and it's giving you instant feedback of data. So it's not just augmented reality or virtual reality. It's kind of a hybrid of reality and data being pushed out of the cyber, the ether into the real world. You know, like we've become used to crappy experiences. Like even the ATM, like the ATM hasn't changed since it's been invented, I don't think. You know, this is the same. You know, you got to crouch down, you got to block the sun, you got to look over your shoulder, and we don't complain. Like this is our most personal data. This is our money, our bank account information, and we're plugging it into these machines, and you know, who knows what's happening? It's uncomfortable. But a very interesting project. This was from IDEO and a Spanish bank, BBVA, futureselfservicebanking.com. You can go there, have a wonderful video that explains their design process, which is absolutely brilliant. And they did some very simple things. It wasn't a total change from the ATM, but they did things like they rotated it 90 degrees so it's perpendicular to the wall. So you don't have people standing behind you. You can see them out of the side of your eye. They tilted the screen down so you can look down upon it. It's a touch screen. You know, very simple things that make an experience that most people don't enjoy into an enjoyable experience. Finally, to close out, all you need to know. Creating value is more important than making money. But if you create value the right way, you can make money. Making money is not bad. It's just I'd rather create value than make money. But if I could do both, that's even better. I mean, yeah. You don't know more than your users. You need to talk to your users as much as you possibly can. But they don't really know what they need sometimes. And that's why we exist, right? We exist to figure out for them what their needs are. Make things as simple as possible, but not simpler. That's our good friend Mr. Einstein who said that, and talking about mathematics, but it applies to just about anything. When you can reduce your product and your service to the most base level, but without stealing any of the value from it, like you're golden if you can do that. And finally, good UX connects users with their environment. It does not separate them from their environment. It's not a block in any way. If anything, it enriches their environment. And that's that. Thank you very much.